right, welcome back, watch fans, for another exciting episode today. Wow, we got a action. Well, this is we got a full agenda. We have a lot of exciting topics we got to bring up here in the world of horology. First, of course, we want to also make a note that we're going to have the first ever Las Vegas horological and L'chaim to you. We're going to have the first ever Las Vegas Horological Congress sometime in April. That's right. This is going to be what the peasants would call a meetup, but the cognoscenti will call a congress. We're going to have here in fabulous Las Vegas. Listen, this is not going to be no Rolex GMTs will be allowed. No Skechers sneakers wearers will be allowed. It's going to be a peasant-free environment, only for the aristocrats on the channel. And if you want to attend the event, you need to send an email to brutalwatchreviews@gmail.com. Of course, for members only. Members only. And by the way, you know what's fascinating is this is great. Some of these Cuckistani watch channels, like the OCuck channel, the Chomostan channels, JJ Bukyak, Archie, whatever. They actually they want to ban. That's right. They're not a free speech. They're not free speech friendly. These guys. It's interesting. You have this so-called watch colony, which we're going to cover in just a little bit. This watch colony allegedly is liberty. It's all about they cloak themselves in these democratic values of the founding fathers, but actually they're a totalitarian state, and they do not allow anybody who goes on this channel. If anybody goes on this channel and they comment, so people see who they are, those people actually will get banned from the Chomostan channels, right? And we know we have a lot of these people who are watching, right? We know for a fact. we know that many of these. Hang on a second, I'm going to show you this. We know that many of these people are actually watchers. Like, for example, like you see this guy. We don't want to dox them, but whatever. Dodger, Vimal, Vimal, very active on the Archieverse. Dodger, but you never see them actually go on our channel, right? You never see them go on our channel. Why? Because they don't comment. Because what happens if they do, then they're gonna get like banned by the OCuck. That's right, the mean girls. The mean girls. It's like 12-year-old girls. They're 12-year-old girls who and the head mean girl is the sassy Skechers wearing built-in pocket square with basic bitch watch collection, the OCuck. Of course, and he's of course going to be at the Grifter Olympics. Now we actually have something fascinating. This is really fascinating. Now, this is Grifter, the OCuck. He famously said that there's going to be the horology Hunger Games. The real watch experts are going to be there. How dare what's the Watch Nicholas and these hate streams go there? They know nothing about watches. Now it's interesting. Last night, I think that there was a live stream on the Cuckistan channel, the Watch Colony Cuckistan channel, where they had an unboxing. That's right. And now this video is now private. I think it's in the member. They took it down. Why? Because it was humiliating for the OCuck. It was embarrassing because you had this Oriental gentleman who looks like he reminds me of the guy Jin Yang. The character from Silicon Valley, Jin Yang. And he bought a Patek. He did an unboxing, I guess, of a Patek 5740. Well, not really unboxing because I think he got it naked, so there was no box. It's probably a stolen watch. But and it's funny. He was showing, and the OCuck and none of the grifters on that, they didn't know what it was. I mean, like, that case is like the most recognizable case for anybody that knows anything about watches. They have seen that case before, like the Patek 3940, 5740, very same exact case, basically, right? Case design. It's a legendary case design, and they didn't know what it was. I mean, it was it was unbelievable. It was very embarrassing. I mean, a guy who claims to be an expert and everything, but Okay, but our first topic, we're gonna have a couple interesting topics. First topic is Breguet. Is Breguet a shitter brand? Now we get this handsome gentleman. The guy looks like a movie star, and he's talking about Breguet. What's wrong with Breguet? And basically, look, he basically says Breguet is a shitter brand. And look, case in point. Yeah.
Are you ready for retirement? Our free retirement planner shows you where.
Hang on, I think I got to put this on speed, right? Hang on. How do you make this go fast? Oh, first I got to skip this stupid ad. Playback speed. We got to go. There we go. Once I don't really care what he has to say. Anyway, the guy says Breguet is a shitter brand, and of course, who's embracing Breguet? Chomostan and Cuckistan. We're talking about the Archieluxuxry. We're talking about JJ Cuckistan. We're talking about the OCuck. The usual suspects. That's all you got to know. And this guy knows about watches. Actually, I mean, this guy really, he's got strange taste, but he does understand
what they're doing. Why are they even viewed as being mismatched? First of all, right now, no cool people wear Breguet. John Mayer.
Okay, no cool people wear Breguet. Everything wrong with no cool people wear Breguet. And look, especially when you have like the Bogan of Brisbane, wear Breguet, then you got that guy. What's some guy Williams? I think Bruce Williams. I don't know what the deal with that guy is. I think I don't know. He's somewhere. I don't know, somewhere in Utah or something. Bruce Williams, who does like mostly shitter watches, but he does have a Rolex Day Date 40 in yellow gold, which is like the wrong color. I mean, it's completely the wrong watch, but he's got a Breguet. This Breguet, the same one that Archie has. And that's all you got to know about the uncool factor of Breguet. It's the kiss of death.
LeBron James, Mark Zuckerberg, they all go for AP, Patek, and Sean. Breguet rarely, if ever, gets exposure in those echelons of wealth. Among watch enthusiasts, this is very much a niche brand that appeals to a seasoned enthusiast that shies away from more contemporary brands. You are very much making a statement by buying a Breguet in the watch collector community. It's rare to see a Breguet owner, and you're likely, if you are one, really down the rabbit hole of watchmaking and technique and history.
Yeah, really, Breguet is like nobody. I mean, the only people who buy Breguet, frankly, is. It used to be kind of like the Russian oligarchs, but again, those guys really didn't know anything. I mean, like they were, look, as soon as the Russians made any money, they went to Milan and they just bought head to toe Moschino and Versace and garish colors, and I mean that was the thing. And I mean they just they wanted to, and Breguet had this affiliation with like what do you call it, with the Tsars and Tolstoy, Russian literature. It was mentioned, but that was the old Breguet from 1700s, not the new Breguet. But but it still has. It's like these brands that try to appeal to the Chinese market, and because they sold to the the Chinese emperor 200 years ago. They try to get and it works in China, right? And it did work with the Russians also. But then the Russians moved on. I mean, they got more sophisticated and they realized, well, there's Patek Philippe. There's, I mean, I don't know if they're really big on AP, but they're definitely Patek. Patek is kind of like that's, they feel comfortable with Patek. I don't know about AP so much. Anyway, he goes on to say everything was wrong.
But there's zero cool factor to the brand. One of the best ways for me to know whether or not
zero cool factor. Do you understand the zero cool factor? And this is the guy. This guy knows. He knows about what's cool, right? Look at this guy.
A good job in terms of content is subscribers. So if you feel that I am making videos that are worthy of your time,
by the way,
videos that you enjoy watching,
look, he's spooking for subscribers, and we need subscribers also. Like this channel, we rely on support from viewers like you. So make sure you send those donations now. Look, we don't do stuff for free here. This channel costs millions of dollars each month to run. So, make sure you at least send a super chat of like, I don't know, at least $500.
Then please consider clicking the subscribe button because it is the best way for me to gauge whether or not I'm doing something that is worth. Rolex is Roger Federer, tennis, horse riding, AP.
Okay, so he's talking about everything what's wrong with Breguet. Let's do this in slow motion. What's wrong with Breguet? Okay.
A famous sports person wearing your watch can change the perception of your brand.
Okay, no brand. Well, they do have an ambassador. It's the Bogan of Brisbane. The Bogan of Brisbane is the official ambassador to Chomostan and Cuckistan and Cuckistan. Those three countries. It's kind of like it's a confederation, the Commonwealth, the Commonwealth. I'm calling it the Commonwealth of Chomostan, and Archie is the ambassador. He's the ambassador to those countries, and he's their brand ambassador for Breguet. By the way, this is not a bad looking watch actually. Is this two-tone gold? It's not a bad. I mean, this is a dial, beautiful dial. But you know what it is? It's kind of, look, they're using, here's the thing with Breguet. Breguet uses the same parts bin as Glashütte, Blancpain, Omega. It's the same company. It's like VW, Audi, Lambo, Bentley.
Most all brands lean into fame, celebrity, and sports. Rolex is Roger Federer, tennis, horse riding. AP is rappers and basketball players. Patek is tech billionaires and oil billionaires and wannabe billionaires. I Googled who famous wears a Breguet, and the results were Napoleon Bonaparte, King George, and Winston Churchill. For Patek, it was LeBron James and Jay-Z. Now, I think the first three were cooler, but in terms of contemporary popularity, there's about a 250-year difference as to what Google thinks.
So basically, nobody has worn Breguet in 250 years. No cool people have worn Breguet, and this is a fact. No, I mean, this is 100% fact. There's not been one cool person who's worn Breguet, because Breguet is just not. Here's the thing, and he mentions Breguet is basically, they're pushing this crafting. It's a grifter brand. He explains it. Watch.
Is a Breguet wearer. Breguet lean into talk about technique, skill, and heritage. This isn't unique to them.
Okay, that's the whole big thing. They talk about their technique. Oh, we do the gear shape, blah blah blah. Yeah, I mean, they're doing essentially a reissue of a 200-year-old watch. That's what they're not a design, I should say, not a watch, because they had pocket watches. But by the way, the pocket watches, I always say this, the Breguet pocket watches from the 18th century, beautiful. I mean, they're amazing. I mean, it's a work of art. Okay, you look at one of these Breguet pocket watches from 1800 or whatever. It's amazing, right? It looks basically like a modern Breguet watch, but bigger. I mean, look. If you want to be a real enthusiast, you get a Breguet pocket watch. That's the move, not the
Lange & Söhne do this too.
Not the Swatch company.
But despite how technically skilled a lot of brands are, it's actually not that common for brands to lean heavily on their part of their brand. I've long held the personal view that technique is overrated as a key selling point.
Exactly.
Technique translated into specifications is super important in the value space, but in the high end, I think it's super overrated. I was watching this video.
It's overrated, yeah. The technique. Look, listen, and I agree completely with everything you said. Look, the whole technique nonsense is a bunch of bullshit. It's a bunch of bullshit.
Of TGV when he bought his Breguet. And there was this one scene where he was talking with the sales rep at the Breguet store. So as sales reps do, he was highlighting something he felt was...
By the way, speaking of uncool people, I mean, it doesn't get any more uncool than a fake aristocrat, a fake Fugazi aristocrat. I mean, this is a guy who comes up with some fake backstory about a grandfather who was, some half whatever. It's all bullshit. Okay, the guy's a fucking Fugazi. Okay, just because he's got an English accent, which by the way is not even a posh accent. Just to be clear, it's not a posh accent. It's sort of like a public school accent. It's basically like lower middle class, sort of like Brixton or something. I don't know.
Was important about the watch, and I don't remember the exact wording. I'll put it somewhere on the screen. But he basically said that on their watches, this component, which I don't remember which one it was exposed for the client to see, unlike other brands that didn't. This, according to him, was because Breguet believed they are so much better at this one thing than those other brands. Something to that effect, anyway. And it's likely true, but I do believe those kind of technicalities are.
Wait, Memovox, Baron Memovox, are you a Breguet fan? Well, by the way, is this guy Danish? This guy, with this watch, this handsome gentleman, is he Danish or something?
Lost on a lot of people. For most buyers, you just tell them it's handmade and it's really, really well done.
This Calatrava that Patek is doing with this is a horrible watch.
I know their skills, and people are right.
With a fake stamped carbon. I mean, a fake stamped carbon fiber. I mean, it doesn't get any nastier than that. I mean, that's frankly, that's worse than Breguet. That's much worse than Breguet. It doesn't get any worse. That watch, when you wear a watch like that, you're sending a signal to humanity that you're basically low life trash.
Going to be happy about it. Tech nerdiness in this space doesn't really sell that well.
I open my eyes and a window wide, let in the light.
Their designs are also super old-fashioned. For those of you that saw.
Oh, okay. So, the designs. So here's again, my issue with the design is basically it's a reproduction. Okay, it's a reproduction of an 18th century design. Okay, it's like reproduction furniture. Okay, there's a huge difference if you're buying 18th century French furniture. Made, which has the little stamps by the makers. It was all handcrafted, the maîtres, it was all, there's all documentation. It's really a work of art, 18th century French furniture. Amazing, right? But then you get these bouquiacs who make reproductions of that, which they sell to low-class people like, again, the Russian oligarchs. Well, actually, the Russians moved on from that. But no, I'm wrong. No, the Russians still they do love that reproduction French furniture. I mean, if you look at, Putin and Zelensky, in their staterooms, whatever. It's all like fake repro garbage.
So the Q&A video, there's a timestamp, so you can skip this section because it's kind of a repeat of what I said back then. But for the rest of you, just keep going and you'll be up to date with everybody else. They use Roman numerals. Roman numerals often make a watch look old. Just check Patek or AP.
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Roman numerals. Okay, and yeah, it does make a. I'm not gonna say no. It does not make a watch look old. Okay, it's wrong. It makes a watch look timeless. Okay, Roman numerals have been around since the Romans. Okay, I think that's the oldest form of numerals, right? When did the Arabs come up with the Arabic numerals? That was probably what in the 800s or something, 700s. I don't know. It's the Romans came up with the numbers, right? And if you look at Rolex date, the way Rolex does the date numerals is absolutely stunning. Okay, Rolex date numerals. Roman numerals are absolutely stunning. Hang on, I'm going to pull this. I just want to show because this guy's wrong. He's wrong. I need to correct this gentleman. It's a question of design. Disegno. Okay. Hang on a second. Okay. You tell me. You Google it. Okay. Look at those Roman numerals. Okay. By the way, this is a horrible picture. But those Roman numerals are stunning. Okay, listen, Julius Caesar. If Julius Caesar was alive today, if Marcus Aurelius was alive today, he'd be wearing that watch. Marcus Aurelius would be wearing 2 of those watches, okay? These are beautiful Roman numerals, okay? These are modern, timeless, classic. So this guy is wrong about that. It's just the way Breguet does theirs is a complete fugazi. It's a complete fugazi. Let's go back to, hang on a second, let's see. We got comments here. Imagine being, okay. Well, listen, okay, Zuckerberg is a style icon for people in Silicon Valley. He's their guy. I mean, they all dress like him now, right? That's the way it works. It's like, first it was Steve Jobs, right? You got a whole bunch of guys. Listen, Steve Jobs, right, was the original. Now you got all these bukyaks who copy Steve Jobs. Hang on a second. I'm gonna pull up this guy. I just want to show you this guy because actually I respect this guy. I just think he's a bit of a clown. Wait. Oh, hang on. I'm gonna show you this guy. Where is this guy? Okay, I'm gonna show you this guy. Okay, hang on. Okay, so you got this guy, this bukyak, Brad Gerstner, who's brilliant guy, very brilliant guy, right? But he's doing. I mean, this guy's like what? This guy's a middle-aged guy already. He's doing the Steve Jobs. He's doing the Steve Jobs. If you see him on CNBC, this is his outfit. I mean, the black T-shirt. I mean, this guy must have 1,000 black T-shirts, right? Every picture he's got the black T-shirt. Like you see a picture of him with a top. Wait, no, that's not him. This is a different one. Okay, but this is again. I mean, why is he wearing a black T-shirt? I mean, is this guy? Okay, this is where he's got a long sleeve. Okay, which is again same thing. I mean, but again, a black. First of all, a T-shirt is gotta be the most unflattering look for a man. Okay, I'm talking about a grown man. Okay, if you're a little boy, you're 12 years old, you're 8 years old, it's fine. If you're 16, okay. Maybe listen. I think once you're past 18, you want to have at least some style. I mean, but you're just going to look like a bukyak, right? So why would a guy? I mean, again, wearing the black T-shirt is like, first of all, really the message to me is like you're broke, basically, because it means that you can't afford a jacket, a proper shirt. Now, again, that's the subliminal message, right? Because historically, the T-shirt was what you wore underneath a dress shirt. That's what it was, right? So if you lost your shirt, if you went broke, you'd be left with a T-shirt or a tank top, right? If you look at any of the old cartoons, the old, I don't know, the old cartoons back in the day, like, I don't know, Warner Brothers, like, I don't know, Tom and Jerry or whatever, if they had a thing for going broke, it was like the guy would be wearing a barrel, or he'd be wearing just, that's what it is, right? So again, I mean, look at this. I mean, look at this. You got Bukiak, who's it? Jason Calacanis, this another grifter, and you got this guy with a black T-shirt. I mean, like, it's like you're trying too hard. You're trying too hard to be like Steve Jobs, bro. You're not Steve Jobs, okay? When Steve Jobs was doing the black turtlenecks, this guy was wearing like his ill-fitting suit with the top. I mean, listen, it's uncool. Please stop. And again, this is what's wrong with Silicon Valley. So all these guys, they followed Steve Jobs, who actually, he had a level of taste. I'm not going to say he was great, whatever, but he had a certain level of, taste. Zuckerberg is now listen, the tech oligarchs are not going to be invited to the Las Vegas Horological Congress. Momovox, are you familiar with the Las Vegas Horological Congress? This is an exclusive gathering. The peasants would call it a meetup, but this is a gathering of horological enthusiasts of high-end horology, okay? Which means no Rolex GMTs or Submariners will be allowed on premises, okay? And no Skechers sneakers will be allowed. No built-in pocket squares allowed. This is coming up in April, only for the aristocrats of this channel. Yes. So back to this gentleman.
The usage of Roman numerals is super rare. They use soft, modern Helvetica style fonts. Breguet also goes.
Okay, so this is okay. By the way, it's funny. I'm actually on the wrist. We have the Jacques Rose. I'm actually wearing a Jacques Rose right now, which is exactly the same layout as this. I mean, you got the little dial up top, the hour, minute dial, the time. I got a Grand Seconde at the bottom with the date. Because it's from the same company.
Heavy on coinages and culery. It's beautiful watchmaking, but it makes your watch sometimes at least look like something out of 1775. You're not going to find a carbon stamped dial.
Okay, this is horrible. This is a disgrace to Patek.
On a Breguet like you do on a 6007G from Patek. You're not going to find any FP Journe steampunk, which is getting a little bit tired.
Okay. Oh, I'm glad he mentioned it. FP Journe steampunk, the steampunk look of FP Journe is getting tired. I'm glad this guy mentioned it, because if he's mentioning it, listen, I think a lot of these people watch our channel. Look, the Watch Reporter channel is very, very well followed in the horological community. Everybody watches it, but they won't admit to watching it, okay? It's like pornography. Everybody watches this channel, but they're not going to admit to it, okay? That's what it is. It's like some sort of indecent sex act. And they don't want to admit to it. Nobody's going to admit to it. But this guy's watch our channel. This is the stuff we've been talking about for last year. The FP Journe is basically, it's a gimmick. It's a gimmick. The steampunk thing. Okay, I get it with the screw heads, blah blah blah. Okay, I get it. Let's move on, Mr. Journe.
But it's still more modern than what Breguet puts on the table. They, of course, use Breguet hands, which it's their thing. But if I were to order watch hands in order of how old-fashioned they look, Breguet hands are going to be right up there with cathedral hands. A funny detail that I learned from Tomoso, and I wasn't really aware of this, on some models, Breguet apparently avoids Cote de Genève because to them it's almost too modern a technique for those specific watches. So to them,
Cote de Genève.
Cote de Genève is too modern. It's also Swiss, which is another topic, but it was too modern for them. Their logo is also old-fashioned. If you check Burberry and AP and Patek and Louis Vuitton and a ton of other brands.
Okay, so I would say
most of them have in recent years gone through a brand transformation where they've got more it's boring beyond all belief.
Okay, so I agree with what he's saying here a little bit, but the Breguet logo could be, the script. I think it could be modernized a little bit. You don't need to do too much to it. You want to keep kind of the essence. Maybe listen. That's kind of a very sophisticated typology job, but somebody can do it. And I'm not a fan of everybody doing this bullshit with these. With the Helvetica. Look at this. You see this? Look at this. He's 100% right. Look what these people are doing. Everybody's doing these Helvetica sans serif, which is terrible. I mean, they really took away the whole soul. The old Yves Saint Laurent logo, beautiful. I mean, it told you what the brand was about. DVF. I mean, again, also Balmain. Okay, Burberry. That Burberry logo has been around. I mean, I don't know, forever. I mean, that's part of the look. By the way, I think these logos, these Helvetica. They look cheap. They look cheap and nasty, like somebody bought them on Fiverr. It's like what you get on Fiverr. Yeah, I concur. Well, no, you could you know, okay. I actually think you could pull it off. I think you could pull it off because I think you could wear a peasant like peasant clothes, because if you wore like a Breguet or an FP Journe with that type of Bouquiac outfit, it would actually elevate the whole thing, right? So it would make it look like oh, okay, this guy probably he's probably just kind of wearing this outfit as like just I don't know, he was washing his car or something, washing his dog, I don't know, whatever. So he's wearing the t-shirt and the cargo shorts and the flip-flops, but and I don't know, but it depends on the context, but I agree with his sentiment here that these Helvetica things are terrible.
Helvetica. I mean, it's boring beyond all belief that all brands look the same and their logos look
complete. Yeah, this guy's a very smart guy. I mean, this guy is a smart guy. So yeah, this is Patek Philippe. Well, look, Patek also, they want the sans serif look, but at least they kept the logo. The Breguet, the Breguet logo. If you look at the Breguet logo, I think there's something they could do. I think there's something they could do with it. I think they should still keep it that script look. Get rid of the hands. The hands are like,
the same, but they've got a modern look. Nevertheless, Breguet, on the other hand, they've got cursive and swirly and tons of serif, and it's long in the tooth, comparatively speaking. They also don't lean into modern materials.
Look at that. Old man's metal. Oh, that's right. So he's basically saying that they don't have like steel or titanium. It's all gold. It's all precious metals, which I'm fine with. It's okay for them to keep that. I don't really agree with that. This watch actually could be kind of cool if they did. It's just a mess of different things, right? You got those syringe hands. You got that weird thing in the whatever. Like, I don't know what that is, but
it's gold. It's platinum pretty much exclusively. You're not going to find any edgy ceramics. As for their designs, off-center.
I'm glad they don't have ceramics.
And pocket watch inspired layouts isn't necessarily something that means they can't be popular. And I'm going to give them a pass because I don't think necessarily it makes them old looking. It just does to some extent. But I mean, most people likely don't know that it's reminiscent of pocket watch designs. So that's not their biggest problem. As for the watches as a whole, so not just the design aesthetic, but the sort of catalog, the catalog just doesn't speak to modern customers. The Marine is just not a competitive alternative to any.
Yeah, the Marine, I don't know. The Marine, fuck. I mean, all the
high-end integrated sports watch. The Pilot 20 has potential and is good to watch. But I think the previous CEO had the right idea. It's much better than the other offerings for them, but it's far from a contemporary Pilot's watch design and is not addressing the segment of buyers that are being offered modernized Calatravas and Fume dial 1159s on textile style straps. The traditional watches are aimed at the real nerds. I get flack for this sometimes, but skeletonization and exposed movements are really an acquired taste. Even the richest.
Yes, skeletonization. Exposed movements. There's really very, very few people who can pull it off. You know who I think does a really nice job? I saw Vacheron. I saw Vacheron with the, what was it? Whatever, it was a tourbillon, whatever. And, they did it in a very modern way.
People think twice before they go down that road. And I'd make one of my signature bold statements and say that the only brand that has really made a successful business model out of putting exposed movements at their core is Richard Mille. But that's because there's this sport and high-tech connection that they've been able to create that makes it acceptable. It's not particularly mainstream, and the way they do it, so Breguet, is a lot different from how AP and others apply skeletonization. Finally, they've got some wristwatches, which are dress watches. They're fine, they're white, they're black, they're blue, and there's silver dials. I mean, you'll be hard-pressed to find anything trendy like a salmon or a green or, heaven forbid, a purple dial. This is
Okay, so by the way, so look at this. This is Vacheron's skeleton, which is, it's not the one I was talking about, but it's kind of cool, right? Again, I'm not, I don't need this skeleton thing, but the one I'm looking at is kind of like a gray one. It is, hang on a second. Wow, that's pretty nice. Hang on a second. Let's see. It's a very modern looking. It's you guys know which one I'm talking about, right? It's the gray. It's kind of this gray type of look. I don't know where it is. I don't know. We can't find it, but it's. I don't know. Hang on a second. I don't know. Look, forget. Listen, Vacheron's not paying me. I'm going to move on. But Vacheron does a nice sketch.
But they're really doing as badly as a lot of people say. Well, yes, but you have to remember what they've been through.
Yes, they're underperforming.
Back in the 70s, where Patek saved himself from the quartz crisis with, the Nautilus, Breguet did not have a compelling answer. In the 1980s, for all sorts of reasons,
this guy is, really, he thinks these things through. He's got.
They got into financial problems and quality problems. And Breguet,
how does he do this? I mean, does he? Because I don't see him. Is he reading off a teleprompter? Because I couldn't do this. He must have notes. He must have these notes in front of him, because how he's looking directly into the camera. So the notes must be around him, or he's using a teleprompter. There's no way he could be doing this just from,
They were basically on the verge of death until Swatch bought them in 1999.
That's
more than 5 years ago. Considering how long it takes to come up with a new model, scale brand, revamp it, and just get it into a place where it's not a walk.
Hang on, Baron Omar. Hang on a second. Okay, because we got a real aristocrat here. You know what? For you, I'm gonna make an effort here. Hang on. Okay. By the way, I saw this watch this weekend. They do, just the regular version of this. No tourbillon, green dial, rose gold. And it is, guess how much it is? I'd be shocked. I mean, the dial, I picked up the watch, right? And I was like, wow. It blew me away. And it was like 24 grand retail. And I'm sure you can get a massive discount. But the green dial on this watch is stunning, and the whole thing is beautiful. The tourbillon is I don't know what, but okay. So when I was at the store, I saw this. I saw the green dial, right? But I'm gonna look for this. I'm gonna look for their tourbillon, which has that kind of skeleton. It's a modern look. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do this. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm actually going to. I may have to go to their website. I may have to go to their website, because the watch is actually, I think they're doing an amazing job for the, I think they're doing an amazing job as a classical watch, but modern. Classical, but modern. Where is it? Hang on. Oh, hang on a second. We gotta pull it up. Okay, we gotta pull up the watch. Okay, here it is. I mean, this is kind of what it is. I think it was something like this. I think this is it. I think this is what I saw, and they're doing something along these lines. They do an annual calendar like this, where it's exposed, and we talked about it. And this is just amazing. It's a beautiful watch. If you like, the complicated, whatever. It's not for me, but this is it's a modern looking watch. You got the hands. It looks like a watch made in 2025, but it has. This is what Patek should be doing. This blows away Patek. I mean, it really does. I mean, this is, again, they're doing a watch for. It's a contemporary watch. That's what this is. It's a contemporary watch. It's for our time. And they're trying, they're playing around with exposed elements, this or that. If you're into it, they do. I think that watch is amazing. Okay, where is the annual calendar? Their site is so messy. I don't know what's going on here. I can't figure out. Okay. Okay, look at this. I mean, this is an amazing watch. And you know what I like about it is that the calendar goes around the whole dial, like the days of the month. It goes all the way around. And this is hang on a second. This is wait, hold on. It's an annual. Okay, it's not a perpetual. It's an annual calendar. Wow, look at this watch. It's a fucking amazing watch. Now again, our channel is all about making money with watches. To buy a watch that you can wear, enjoy, but will increase in value. I don't think these have upside potential unless you get them dirt cheap. I think with these watches, with Vacheron, like these, I just did a video which is going to be out talking about this, but I think when it comes to these modern watches right now, we're just it's in a new era. The COVID thing, that was like an outlier event. The new era is basically, there's two ways to make money. Either you buy it after it's been depreciated, and then you make money. If it drops, 30%, goes, the depreciation, and your profit is from there. Or you buy one of these vintage watches or whatever it is, where it becomes repriced again, revalued in the market again. But this is amazing. This is what Breguet should be doing. Okay, Vacheron is what? I mean, I don't want to hear excuses that Breguet is a 300-year-old brand. They want to be old. I don't want to hear those excuses, okay? These guys are also 300 years old. Why are they doing a modern watch, which looks amazing? Why are they doing a modern watch? It looks amazing. Hang on a second. I'm going to pull up a cool watch. I'm going to pull up something very cool. Hang on a second. Where is the watch? Okay, hang on a second. Okay. Okay, so the watch I saw was this line that they called Traditionnel, right? Which is a little bit smaller, I think, or whatever. I don't know the whole details, but look at this. They got some, Vacheron has actually some decent value. Vacheron has some decent, look at this. This is like a 2000s watch? I don't know, wait, this is like must be early 2000s. Not a bad watch. This is like the JLC design, though. Yeah, this is like the JLC. Hang on a second. Okay, so let me pull up. Let me see if I can find it. So the watch I saw was, where is it? Shit. Okay, okay, let me try this. Vacheron. Okay, so this is the watch I saw, and I had it on my wrist, and it was, I thought it was absolutely amazing, and I mean, everything about it is absolutely perfect, and it's kind of, it's interesting. It's basically, it's like the Baron Omar has a Calatrava like this. This watch is same idea, but more, I think, a little bit more modern. And frankly, I would go for this watch. I mean, the price is crazy. I was shocked by this price, because this seems almost too cheap for this watch. So I was like, wow. I'm looking at, it's a manual wind. I love everything about it. But then I'm thinking, wow, for the same price, I can get a Rolex Day-Date green dial with a green, which is the deployment, which is one I've been looking at for a while. Those are the same price, and at least the Rolex, I just feel a little more, I don't know, I just feel a little more comfortable. But this is a much classier watch. But I was like, do I need another watch? Do I really need to have this? Like, the problem with it also is, like, how much can you wear it? Because it doesn't go with everything, right? Like, I have, like, I have some cufflinks that are malachite green. I have some ties that are green. I love green, but again, you can't wear the. I mean, it doesn't go with everything. So it's one of these watches, like, it's kind of like it's down the road maybe. And I think when prices drop, but definitely I have it on my watch list. If prices drop on that watch, which I think they will, because it should be like an $18,000 watch. It should be 18, maybe 20 maximum, maybe. And there's no upside. I can't see that. There's no way that there's just no catalyst to make this go up. Zero catalysts. At least with the Rolex Day-Date, I have catalyst. But that's just me. I have
disaster. That's not a particularly long time. If the lens is that they're not as popular as Patek, then yes, they are massively underperforming. But considering that they might have ceased to exist in the year 2000, then they're in a pretty stable place right now. And with that in mind, Morgan Stanley has shown them to be consistently dropping in the annual watch report, with them placing in 14th place in 2017. And
okay, so they were 14th place. I don't know, whatever, the Morgan Stanley list of whatever. And they dropped to 28th place.
28th place in 2023. That's 14 places dropped over 6 years. On top of that,
wow, 14 places. They dropped 14 places in 6 years. Imagine what happens when people find out that their ambassador is the Bogan of Brisbane. When people find out that the Bogan of Brisbane is the brand ambassador for Breguet, it's going to drop go right through the floor.
That their implied retail price of their watches is well below that of Patek and AP and a whole lot of others. In a market where everybody else has consistently been able to convince people to pay more for the same watch, Breguet just hasn't. Now, Swatch Group say they're very happy.
Yeah, I mean, the watch is amazing. It's amazing. And it's classic, thin. It's got everything going for it, except the price. I just, I looked around. The cheapest on the secondary market also seems to be in that kind of 24 grand range, which I'm a little bit surprised by because, the market is pretty dead, right? They should be below retail. They should be like 18 grand. So, I might be wrong, whatever. But it was like, great watch. I mean, it's the type of watch, like, you know what? If you don't mind taking a hit and not making money with a watch, it's worth, getting it at retail and getting the whole, song and dance. But I think Vacheron does give discounts because I asked them and they were like, we, I mean, it was open for discussion. It wasn't like Patek where they would laugh, right? It's open for discussion. I think there's a minimum of 10%. Minimum. Really, it should be like 20.
With Breguet. But Lionel Marco was CEO at Breguet for 3 years and was removed last year. He's been demoted to vice president of operations at Blancpain. Instead, Swatch put in some guy called Gregory Kissling. Now, you can say what you want, but if you are a success as a CEO, your next job is not VP of operations. Based on that alone, my read is that no, Lionel Marco didn't deliver, and Swatch did their usual musical chairs thing and replaced one dude with great hair with another dude with even better hair and hoped for better results. Breguet is not where Swatch wants Breguet to be, despite them saying that they're happy. Otherwise, they wouldn't be switching out their CEOs. That's my read. Now, the question isn't really whether or not they could or should be better. They can, and they should. For me, it's more of a question of weighing the options. And
I mean, this guy really, I think this guy, frankly, is the smartest guy in the watch space. Like in terms of, he does these, he's very well thought out. He understands. This guy really is, this guy gets it. This guy understands. I mean, I don't know his outlook on watches, but he understands how, he understands how business works, basically.
And assessing the individual strengths and weaknesses of those options. And there really isn't a clear right answer. I mean, based on my assessments of their problems, they would need more modern designs, a better integrated sports watch, more celebrities, a more elite approach to marketing, a revamp of their brand visual identity, and they'd have to distance themselves from technique and oldness and everything that makes Breguet.
I agree with everything he's saying. This is like, he's basically articulating it very professionally what I've been saying in my, inarticulate way for the last, forever.
Sort of logical conclusion if you take a one-to-one approaches to my read on their problems. But
except the brand ambassador celebrity, that stuff is kind of bullshit. It's a bunch of bullshit because if you look at the celebrities, I mean, look at the, I don't know, Oris or there's a bunch of brands out there that have like superstars. They got like George Clooney. George Clooney represents which brand? I mean, I know George Clooney, I think a couple of other, I mean, there's a bunch of movie stars who represent some shitter brands out there. And it doesn't do anything for those watches.
In fairness, every single one of my arguments can be picked apart completely. So just take the question of modern designs. Do you really want Breguet to make a modern integrated sports bracelet watch? Do you really?
I actually don't want to see, I do not want to see a celebrity promoting a watch. I mean, I don't want to see, I'm actually, yeah, I think the day that Patek, and I'm sure that it's coming with Thierry Stern, the day that Patek hires a celebrity, it'll be like the kiss of death. I mean, there's really no need for a high-end brand to have a celebrity, which is what I think about, which is interesting because Rolex has all these Fugazi brand ambassadors, which are, but that also, listen, Rolex is a mass market brand. It really is. It's a mass market brand that does a very good quality watch. But that does tell us something about it. If they need to get like Leonardo DiCaprio and whatever to spruik their watches, But here's the thing: the way Rolex does though is very clever. I mean, they got Martin Scorsese in an ad, and they had, I think, Gorbachev in an ad. I mean, they've had like heavy hitters in their ads, but the ads are very well done. They're like elegant. They're able to pull it off.
Really want to move yourself into a space that's hyper competitive and potentially also losing a little bit of steam. And even more fundamentally, are you capable of building an integrated sports watch that doesn't get the reception of the cubitus?
With the Amex Platinum card, you can earn 5 times membership rewards points.
The same goes.
Okay, hang on a second. Yeah, okay, I agree with that. No, okay, well, hold on. I don't. Okay, so I disagree about modern. I disagree about the modern, like Nautilus, Royal Oak, the modern stuff. I think the price premium stuff is going to go away. So that stuff is going away. I think there's going to be collectors who are going to comb through like the back catalog. So I think the vintage and neo vintage of Nautilus and Royal Oak, I think you could make money there. But I think the idea of buying modern watches that's done. The independents for sure, because the independents is just that's where the money is really going. These like really interesting independents. I agree with this.
For the general modernization of the designs, basically ditching this love for Roman numerals. Roman numerals, of course, is a simplification of a broad challenge, but the complexity of moving to a more modernized aesthetic while retaining.
Basically, the guy says Breguet's shit. I think we've covered it. Let's cover another topic here. I just want to do this real quick. We got our good friend Bill Sanders, Bill Sanders also has banned the Watch Report. That's right, unbelievable but true. Can you imagine if Bill Sanders has banned the Watch Report channel from leaving nasty and vicious comments? Okay, so he did this video about look, Bill Sanders, I highly respect his opinion about movements. He's a movement guy. He eats a lot of prunes and he knows about movements. So he really does. I respect his horology opinions, and he does a video. I want to go through here real quick. He talks about horology, I guess, I don't know, high horology at a discount price. He mentions this brand Artlance, which is they do kind of cool stuff. I mean, but the prices plummet. I mean, look at this. They got a $54,000 sticker and it sells for like 10 grand.
Pretty much overlooked. What's more, there's some really good buys too. So let's take a look at them right away. Now, the first one is Houtlins. Recently, I talked about H. Moser at Company, and I mentioned Houtlins in passing. And this watch was, I think, the whole effort behind Houtlins is sort of what was described as a horological think tank. And indeed it is. The watches tend to look like TV sets. I found one I like, a round one called the...
Oh, yeah, the Arnold. Yeah, Arnold, sadly, I know nothing about Arnold just came across. I mean, I've seen them, but I never really paid attention. Then I saw the Arnold, and I was like, wow, this is kind of cool. Sadly, though, what really bothers me is that one of the aristocrats, I think it was Baron Memovox, mentioned that Arnold is owned by Citizen. It's owned by Citizen. so it's, which is, but I don't know how they're doing it, but they're owned by Citizen. But then again, Swatch owns Breguet. Swatch owns, a bunch of brands. I don't know. Maybe that's whatever. But it's a cool watch. I mean, but again, I think with the Arnold, they got to be bought at 99% discount. But they're cool watches. I mean, wow.
HL.
Listen, again, the people say, "Oh, this guy's a hater of modern watches. He only likes old man watches." No, I think there's some great modern watches right now. I would definitely listen if it's like I don't want to have I don't want to have 50 watches. I don't want to be that guy. I want to have a maximum of like 12. I don't want to go beyond that. So, but if I were like starting again, or I got rid of some things, if I can get an Arnold dirt cheap, it's got to be dirt cheap with the gold and the big moon. I would get it. The Vacheron, the green dial, definitely I would get it if it was cheap. There's a bunch of modern watches I like. I have nothing against modern watches, and these are kind of interesting. It's just not my thing, but
07, and it has both jumping hours and retrograde minutes on it. a date window down at about 7 o'clock, which you don't see a lot of.
Okay, so he's talking
just,
about 3 gems, 3 watches that are Baron Memo. Listen, if Baron Memovox respects Arnold and Son, then it's good enough for this channel. I think Bill Sanders also likes Arnold. Okay, he talks about 3 watches that are great deals in the market. Okay, so Lance. Okay, again, very exotic movement. Okay, let's move on to number 2, Armin Strom, which is they do some interesting things, right? Like very technologically, very advanced, whatever. Hang on a second. Let me back up a little bit on the Armin Strom. Oh no, hang on. Let me back up on the Armin Strom because, this Armin Strom. It's just interesting to talk about this because, again, this is not for me, but I find it very interesting because these guys are, this is the avant-garde. This is like, this is where watchmaking is going.
One is an Armin Strom gravity water. This is a really, really exceptional horology, not just high horology, but really exceptional horology.
Wow. If Bill Sanders says this is exceptional horology, it means something.
Caliber ARM13, automatic, 18,000 semi-oscillations per hour. This is what you find at your top watchmakers. You go look at the frequency of all your really top ones, and this is what you're going to find. 120-hour power reserve. One of the things about the lower frequency is that the charge lasts longer. It's time only, hours, minutes, and seconds. The MSRP is 13,700. This was offered for 6,700. You're talking about half price, okay, of the MSRP. So you're not, this isn't some little deduction. This is a super watch for about.
Listen, for $6,000, I think the problem with this watch shown is the strap. If you put that on a really cool strap, I don't know, whatever it would have to be, like some sort of maybe some sort of rubber cool strap or something. It would be a totally different watch. Also, I'm not a fan of the steel. I think again. But compare this to Rolex. Compare it to whatever. Breguet.
Half of what you'd pay for it retail. Now the final one is one that 2 things about it. Jaeger-LeCoultre, everyone knows it, and I think by and large, or at least they've heard of it. More likely than not, they're thinking Reverso, something like that. But here,
this is the Colonel's own watch, of course, in rose gold. But yes. So if Bill Sanders approves, and he's mentioned this watch a couple times, this is a great watch.
It's a really nice one. This was originally part of the geophysic line of Jaeger-LeCoultre watches that they dumped. Well, this is the one that was part of that line. Now, the interesting thing about this, they still make this model brand new. The brand new ones cost 14,600.
Dual time, and what do you call the Baron Omar? I think Baron Omar has the same watch from Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. By coincidence.
It's the movement.
Again, this is a great value. But again, I think with JLC, you got to get it in gold. You can't, they really should stop making these watches. And it just doesn't work. A steel watch, a dress watch on a strap is just wrong. It's just wrong. It should be gold only.
Is a JLC caliber 939 automatic 4 hertz, power reserve of 70 hours. 24.
By the way, this power reserve is a bunch of bullshit. It's not 70 hours. It's probably like 48 if you're lucky. It's 48 if you're lucky.
24 time zone.
These guys all lie.
Second time zone. Seconds time zone. In other words, you have for the time zone and the seconds time zone. You have a 31 day hand date. Power reserve indicator over there looks like about between 9 and.
Okay, hang on. Okay, so hang on. I want to pivot back to. Hang on. Hang on. I think I put in the wrong. Oh shit! I used the 57. Oh, I used the wrong number. 50. Hang on a second. Here we go. 57. 54. Hang on. Look what happens. I got the topic we started off with was the grift channels, the Chomostans, the Chomostan channel of the watch colony. That's the OCuck. So it's Cuckistan. That's the United Commonwealth of Cuckistan, Chomostan, and Bluechip. They had an unboxing with Jin Yang. And it's interesting. So these guys, the OCuck claims to be 5140. That's the number. That's the number. So the OCuck, again, he claims to be like a watch expert, a respected, not just an expert, but a respected watch expert. And he had this guy Jin Yang unbox, or he had it on the wrist because it's probably a stolen watch with no box papers. But this case is very recognizable. Listen, anybody who knows Patek, if they see the profile of this watch from the side, not the dog, the side, you know what it is. Like, I can recognize that like from 20 feet away, like literally 20 feet away. The side of that case, I know it's either, I think it's a 3940, right? But so this guy unboxes the watch, right? Or it's on his wrist, but it's actually a 5140, not the 3940. He's got the compromised watch, which tells you everything you want to know about Chomostan, right? So unfortunately, they took down the video. It's in the private area now because it was so embarrassing for the OCuck, because he didn't know like anything about, like, he didn't recognize, he was like so lost. This guy was like a lost puppy, and I think he was wearing his Patek, he was wearing his poor man's annual calendar, and he was trying to like say, oh yeah, we're part of the same. You're not part of the same club. You got a Bouquet watch, the gold one. No, on the JLC. No, on the JLC. Oh, you talk about on Royal Oak. On Royal Oak. Yeah. I think on a Royal Oak, stainless steel is more than gold. Yeah, it's weird. It's very weird. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely crazy. No, it's like you got a crazy deal on that watch. I think that watch has real upside. But on the JLC, if you're talking about the JLC is $6,000 for steel in dual time. The gold one is only $9,000. I mean, why wouldn't somebody not buy the watch in rose gold for $9,000? I mean, maybe it's $10,000 because I think they're 10, 9, 10, whatever it is, right? But yeah, you know what? I actually saw a very rare ellipse thing in steel, which I thought it was a white gold. I found it was steel. It was like a vintage. I was like, I know it's an important watch historically, whatever, but like, it's like I just can't get into it. I just can't. I think a dress watch, I think for Patek, I just can't get into it. It's got to be gold. Rolex could be okay for steel watch. It's fine. Integrated bracelet, it's okay. But when a watch is on a strap, it's got to be gold. Okay, so let's discuss the 5140. I mistakenly called it a 57. It's a 5140. 5740 is the real deal. This is the peasant watch. So here's the problem. This is everything you got to know about Chomostan. So the 5140 is $41,000, and the original, the OG, as opposed to the OC, is pushing 100, right? So it's twice as much for the older watch. Why is that? Well, it's kind of like with cars, right? Like Bentley, right? Bentley, the Continental GT, originally was a 12-cylinder car. It was a 12-cylinder, W12, right? And then because of the emissions, all the stuff, the government, the socialists, they're being pushed to go to, to basically go electric and, get rid of gas altogether. So now they have an 8-cylinder, right? The car looks the same, but why would anybody want to buy a Bentley in 8-cylinder when they can get one in 12? Now, frankly, the 8-cylinder, from what I understand, performs because, the technology has advanced so much in the last 20 years. The 8-cylinder performs very close to the 12, like very close, maybe the same, very close. But it doesn't sound the same, and it just doesn't have that same. Listen, it's a compromise. It's a compromise, and that's why the 8 cylinders are not desirable, and it will not be desirable. Okay, the real, And I think, again, maybe I'm crazy, but I think a 12-cylinder cars are going to be collectible. Listen, if people are still collecting cars at some point, they're going to be very desirable. Whereas the 8 is not. It's kind of like, Range Rover. They do an 8-cylinder, and they do a 6-cylinder of the Range Rover. You don't want the 6-cylinder. It's like the Mercedes S-Class. I know they have, what is it? I'm not that familiar with Mercedes offerings today, but I remember back in the day, the top of the line was the S600, right? Or whatever it is today, S600, 12-cylinder. Then you had the S500, and most people had the S500, right? And then you had the dirt bags. You had the real lowlives who would get like not the 450. They would get the I think they made an S300. I think they made like an S3 something, which was like, like a 6-cylinder engine or something really like, the seats were cloth or whatever. But that's what this watch is. It's a compromise watch because the real Patek people, they don't want the 5140. The reason is this. I mean, one of the reasons is you see what's happening. This is a big thing that people mention. Oh, you look at the 27 on the date wheel. It's kind of scrunched up. It's pressed down by the day thing, and it's especially in white. In white, it doesn't do it. In white, this watch looks terrible. And if the guy would have gotten this dial, this is a nice watch. Again, with the problem with bronze dial, these chocolate dials, it's like a green dial. It limits. You're kind of limited by when you can wear it and where in what environment, right? Like, a chocolate dial. I mean, it doesn't always go with it. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't always go with everything. A green dial. You really can't wear in the winter. I mean, you're not going to wear a green dial in New York in January. I mean, you could wear it in April and May. It'd be amazing. It's a spring-summer watch. Or if you live in Miami, it's a year-round watch, a tropical environment. Chocolate dial is like, you're not going to wear this in the summer. It's just too much of a, fall winter type of watch. Listen, I don't want to sound like, Mr. Mr. Blackwell fashion. No, but it's the kind of reality. It's the feeling. It's the vibe you get from it. I love the chocolate. It's a beautiful, warm color. Frankly, this is the watch the guy should have gotten. And the guy is Chinese. I think Chinese people look better with gold, with yellow gold and white gold. I think if you had to do it, but even this, it's not the same. There's a real difference with this white dial. It's not the same as the 3940. It's just not. It's like it's like a Bentley V8 versus the W12. Nobody's gonna want this. And a lot of these grifter channels, like the collectability guy, there's what do you call it? The guy from, what's his name, Reardon. All these Muppet Boiler Room channels, they're trying to push, I should say, the 5140 because it's cheap. It's like that 8-cylinder Bentley. Nobody wants the 8-cylinder Bentley. Nobody wants the 6-cylinder Range Rover. They want the 8-cylinder. They want the supercharged. Unless you're like a gay hairdresser, then whatever. Or you're like a soccer mom. You want to be practical. So yeah, it's not my thing. Not my thing. Yeah, so it's 3940 only. Okay, let's do a market update. Market update 39. Let me look at. Let's see what the 3940s are doing, because we showed you what the peasants. This is Cuckistan. What Cuckistan? See, the Cuckistanis are pushing the 5140, the peasant watch, the compromise. 3940. What's on the market? Because we haven't seen this in a while. So the European watch grifters are at 99 grand. Is that European watch? Yeah, they're at 99 grand. The 108, that was a little aggressive. That was very aggressive. Maybe in a year. You got a couple of these platinums, which you don't want the platinum. So again, in the hundreds. And now the basic, the yellow golds are going into, this is it. This is what's going on. 85. Yeah. I think these you can still get probably for like, 70s for the white gold. And the yellow gold, I think, is also amazing. I think the yellow gold is great. Big difference. There's actually, I mean, it's like a subtle difference, especially on the white dials. You don't notice it. You don't notice on the chocolate dial and other colors, like blue or chocolate. But on the white dials, the 5140 looks like shit. It really does look like shit. This looks classic. I'm not sure what it is. There's a couple little nuances. If we had like Baron Red knows about you know what? I actually had a green Range Rover, and it had a green leather interior. I mean, I got the car. I mean, I really wanted that specific car. It was a 2004. The Range Rover, the leather inside the car, so the interior was all like this kind of like money green. It was like a light, it was kind of the green of like a dollar bill. It wasn't deep. It was like a forest green. It was beautiful, beautiful. The exterior was, the English racing green, dark green, whatever you call it. That car was the worst car I've ever had in my life. Why? Because it's a BMW engine. I think I bought that car. I mean, that was the biggest money pit I ever had. It was like, I think I bought it. This is a long time ago. I bought it. It was a mistake, but I was very stubborn. I loved the color. I think I paid like 14 grand for the car, and then I spent another 25 grand on service over like, I don't know how many years, 3 years maybe. But I put like 100,000 miles on it, so it's not that bad if you look at it. It's not terrible. I put 100,000 miles. I bought it with like 80,000. Like it was a mistake. But anyway, I didn't know what I was doing, and I put 100,000 miles on it, so it was okay. I guess it kind of evens out. But the problem is, it was in the shop every other week. It's the BMW. They leak oil. They leak coolant. Yeah, I think right. So I think it's very noticeable on the 5140. I think that's what it is. Like, this is the big thing that the Patek people, who are very particular. I mean, these people are, Patek collectors are like they're like Porsche collectors. The Porsche people are also very anal, and they pick apart little details. So you got to have box papers. You got to have everything. Otherwise, like, you can't sell the watch. So yeah, something is, you notice it. You really notice it on the white dial. And something about the white dial is just, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen one of these in person, actually. So I don't know. I think on the, for example, on the 3940, the one that I have, the watch, it's a white dial, but it's an opaline. It's opaline, so it's kind of like a silvery white. So I think this is a flat white. I think that's what it is. I think these are like a flat white. It looks to me like it's a flat white. It's not opaline. And that could be the problem. If you do a flat white, yeah, I think that's a problem I have also with JLC. They do this cream color on the Perpetual calendar, which is like, I don't know, it just looks like shit. I mean, the JLC Perpetual calendar with the cream color is like, I don't know, it looks like diarrhea, basically. Yeah, so here's the thing. Look, it's a compromise. This is a compromise watch. I actually would not mind owning this in bronze, this chocolate. I wouldn't mind, where is it, the blue? I think the blue is great. And you don't notice the stuff as much because you know what happens, the dials are so beautiful, it takes away from the typography. So it's kind of like, Yeah, that's what it is. It's like the Range Rover, the interior of the Range Rover, that green was so beautiful that, and you sit there, it's a really nice experience when it's working. The car was great when it was working, right? And then the battery kept dying. Like it was like everything. These, I don't know. It was horrific. So it's BMW. That's why. And again, look at the people who are BMW people. Archieluxury with his 3 Series. You got Peasant Philippe also has a 3 Series. You got the OCuck. I think he's got a 5 Series. I think he's got an M5, right? He was flexing this M5 in cherry red. I mean, there is no heterosexual man that would drive a cherry red BMW. I mean, that's like, look, if you're black, I understand. I know, like, listen, it's a thing in the hood. You want the bright colors. I get it. But no middle-aged white male should be driving a cherry red BMW. Unless you're like a gay hairdresser or a soccer mom, or you're like a 15, you're a 16-year-old girl. Your dad buys it for you for, high school graduation. 20, yeah. So here's the thing. So the 3940 is 36 millimeter. It's the classic, and in theory, this watch should work, right? Because it's the modern watch. It's 38 millimeter, right? 37.2. It wears like a 38, let's say, right? So it's a little bigger. And I actually, frankly, I almost prefer this because, it's easier for me to read the dial. It's like, it really does make a difference. It's a little bit bigger. It makes a difference. Like, it's what happens. I've noticed I'm getting older. It's hard to see up close. It gets harder, especially when it's dark or something. I don't know. That's what happens, I guess. So, it was sad. I met an old friend of mine. The guy moved to London. I hadn't seen this guy like 20 years. I remember this guy when he was in his 30s or whatever. We're like in our 20s, 30s. I knew this guy a long time. And, we meet in a restaurant and the menu comes out and he takes out his reading glasses. And I felt, oh, shit. It made me feel old. This guy's only a couple of years older than me. He's wearing reading glasses. I probably should be wearing reading glasses to look at a menu in restaurants at night, because I don't know, these either they've gotten darker or something is going on, but it's harder to read the small stuff at night. So, but I'm not ready for that yet. I'm not ready. So this, the only, to me, like I would get this watch only because it's a little bit more practical. It's kind of like wearing New Balance. It's like, for me, this would be like you see these old guys, they wear New Balance sneakers. That's what this is basically. It's kind of like it is what it is. But not in white. Hold on, Omar, have you seen this? Have you seen this in white? Have you seen this 5140 white dial? Or has anybody seen the white dial? I think it's a flat white, which is what's going on. I think that's what makes it look like shit. RR TDI5 RR. Oh. Wait, they made a diesel. I think the diesel is very popular, very desirable. I think the Range Rover diesel engines were, from what I understand, very desirable. Oh, you haven't? Okay. Baron Memovox, have you seen the 5140 white dial? We want to know, is it an opaline or not? Is it opaline or not opaline? I'm 99% sure it's not opaline. 99% sure. That's why it looks like it's lifeless. That's what it is. It's lifeless. It's like a dead fish. It's a dead fish. You gotta have a little bit of you gotta have something going on. You gotta have a little bit silvery something going on, because then it reacts with the light. I want a watch that's going to change with the light conditions. If it doesn't have, like, my JLC is kind of like a white, but it's an opaline. So at least, I'm getting a little bit of a shifting in light conditions. Okay, this is the watch that I pulled up before, which mistakenly, This is not the watch of Cuckistan. This is the real deal. And these are also dropping in price. These are, I think is the best Nautilus Perpetual. Sadly, these are 150 retail, and they are selling for like 180. They've been selling for 180. I'm just not convinced about Nautilus. I think Nautilus is, I don't know. But this, the Nautilus design, I don't know if it's going to last. I don't know if it's going to, I don't know if it's going to be classical or time. Because it's kind of a kitschy design. I've said this before. I think it's a kitschy design. But the watch on the wrist feels amazing. Beautiful watch. And also very readable. This is like, look at this. This dial is very readable. Beautiful watch. Beautiful watch. Okay, let's speaking of perpetuals, let's talk about Audemars Piguet. We talked about this before, but I'll mention it because I didn't do it on a live stream. The problems. What the hell is this? The problem of the new Royal Oak or the new Perpetual calendar, I think Baron Memovox is actually okay with it. Baron Memovox has no problem with the code 1159. Where is it? Are they hiding it? Okay, I'll bring up this is the Royal Oak, and I did a video on this. I think I did a video. It's up for the members, but I think it's again, I love the concept of a Royal Oak Perpetual calendar. I love it. The problem I have with it is what I love about the Royal Oak is the modern tapisserie dial. In other words, what happened with Royal Oak once they started doing these bigger tapisseries starting around 2005, like what you see here, it looks amazing. It's a beautiful, beautiful dial. The tapisserie is amazing. The old tapisseries, like the one I have on my owl, not as good. It's not as good. No, it's not. It's night and day. Night and day. The new modern tapisseries are beautiful. They react with the light. The problem is on a perpetual calendar, right? And this is my issue with. I did a video with meteorite dials, right? If I have a meteorite dial, right? If I'm spending the money for a meteorite dial, I want to enjoy the meteorite. I want to look at the meteorite. If I have a Royal Oak dial, I really want to look at that tapisserie dial. So you can't have a bunch of sub dials because they take up all the valuable real estate. They take up all the real estate. I mean, you can get away with two, maybe three sub dials, maybe. That's it. You can't. But if but here, the whole thing is covered up with these sub dials. It's like it's a hot mess. It's a hot mess. That's my problem. Also, it's too big. But what they have, which is kind of cool, is this new movement. The new movement that they have, this new movement, which allows you to change the. Look at that tapisserie. I mean, the tapisserie is amazing. It's beautiful tapisserie. But the dials, take up all the enjoyment. They take up, it's what it is? It's imagine like it's not opaline. That's what it is. That's the problem. See? Okay, so that's the problem. That's what nails it on the head. The problem with the 5140, the white dials, they're flat. They're dead fish. That's what it is. I couldn't figure out what is it about the watch that just bothers me. Like I've never seen one in person. I've seen the pictures and they just didn't move me. The chocolate, I love the chocolate. The blue, beautiful watch. But the flat white is like it's just like a dead fish on the wrist. So You know what it is? It's like, the problem I have with it's like when you have a meteorite dial, like a Daytona, Rolex Daytona, or the Rolex GMT with a big lume plus, it's almost like you take a supermodel, like you take, I don't know, Cindy Crawford. Or I guess Cindy Crawford is too old now, but whoever is the top supermodel now, right? You take a supermodel, and then you put her in one of those burqas, right? Like what they have in Afghanistan, the full veil, where even the eyes are covered, and they have like little nets on the eyes, so you can't even see the eyes. You cover up, you completely cover up, completely cover up the woman. Now underneath, it could be amazing. She could be a supermodel, but I can't enjoy. Well, it could be, you don't want other guys looking at your wife. I get it, but like, takes away from, what do you see? I saw this video that, I saw something in Saudi Arabia. I saw something where there was a concert or something or whatever it is, and I guess these guys, the husbands, whatever, they're picking up their wives. They're waiting in line. They're driving, pick them up, after this thing, and all these women, they're all wearing the black veil, right? How do you recognize who's your wife? I mean, there's like 50 of them. How do you know which one is? How do you know which one is your wife? You have to pick them up in the car. I don't know. It's there must be a system. I don't know. There must be some sort of system. But that's what it is. You're covering up the entire watch with these dials, subdials. But the idea of what is Baron Memovox? What do you say about this new movement where you can adjust? You can adjust all the settings through the crown. I mean, I don't know how reliable, whatever, but that to me is amazing. I think Langenson also has. I think Langenson does that, and that is a great thing. I mean, that's impressive that they can do that. The 3940, you got to have a little tool. You got to have, you got to, spend time. It's like a full-time job. It's a full-time job to change. To here we go. I don't know the code watch just. I mean, I think they're getting better. I think they're evolving a little bit. I kind of get what they're doing a little bit. It just. I think the issue I have with the code is the case is very modern, but when you do this kind of guilloche thing, it makes it look old-fashioned. It just makes it look old-fashioned. I don't know. It's just too many design elements. It's too much going on. I think that's what it is. Maybe I'm a hater. Maybe I'm just a hater. Maybe I'm just jealous that I can't wear the watch. It's too big on my wrist, and it's too damn expensive. I mean, I missed the boat. I could have gotten the Perpetual. Like at the time, when I bought my Owl, I could have gotten a Perpetual calendar, that same watch in a Perpetual, for 25 grand. 25 grand was the price for the in solid yellow gold Perpetual calendar, for the same one I have. Why didn't I do it? I was like, yellow gold, it's like too much. Right? I can't really wear a full yellow gold bracelet. I mean, it just doesn't work for me. I wanted something a little more, low key. I got to have some gold. That's why I did the two-tone. But yeah, I mean, I looked at it. I was like, you know what? If I could get another one, I would definitely have gotten it. But you know what? I got that one and the Owl, which was good. But yeah, it was for 25 grand. For 25 grand, I could have bought the watch, and it was a what, 38 millimeter, 37 millimeter. So I'm bitter. I'm bitter that that the prices moved up, and I was left out. I was left out in the cold. Actually, hang on a second. Let's take a look. Audemars Perpetual. Breguet Royal Oak. Low to high. Okay, so low to high. Wow, look at this. These prices have dropped. Okay, I saw this watch. I had this on the wrist like 4 years ago. maybe 5 years, 6, no, maybe 5 years ago, I think it was. And it was a chocolate dial, and it was like, wow, beautiful. And it was 60 grand. It was 60 grand. And the prices moved up, and it's a little big. It might have been, maybe it was probably too big. It was 39 millimeter. But the chocolate dial, I love this dial. I mean, a beautiful watch. I love it. It looks much better than these pictures. Much better than the pictures. Yes, this is the bigger, yeah. Hard to read. Hard to read these the subdials also. What size is this? Yeah, the prices are really falling. I mean, these things went to like 120. They went to 120. Now they're, wow, look at these. This is crazy. I can't believe this. 60 grand. Wow. I'm actually tempted. Look at this. This is 39. No, the problem though is on these straps, I put a 39 millimeter with a strap. It was a dual time, and it just was too big. It just flared out too much. But I would love, I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah, this is the silver white, silvery white. Baron Omar, you got the same watch, basically. You got the same dial, silvery white. So this is, again, this is like, this is their new thing, but this is a fucking amazing watch. But it's just, I wish they did this in like just a slightly smaller size. Chocolate, beautiful dial. So this is what's going on with the Royal Oaks. The price are really dropping. I see. This is the, yeah. This is basically, this is the watch, but it was in yellow gold with tapisserie, and it was 25 grand, and it was 38 millimeter. How big is this? This is 30. I think it's 37. I think it was that size. 39. I don't think it's 39. I think it's smaller. Let's take a look. Wow. No, this is boring. Yeah, it's just these flat dials. They got no life to them. They're like just dead fish. A dead fish on the wrist. You gotta have something going on here. Steel. Yeah. This is overpriced. Oh. Yeah, I don't know. I think this chocolate here is like their best watch. This is like their best watch. The only issue with this watch, I think, is that it might be seen as a little bit old-fashioned at some point. I mean, it's already, I think, a little bit old-fashioned because, you know, people, you know, when they look at the Royal Oak, they think of the bracelet, although, you know, that's not 100% true. I think really this is probably the money watch. This watch, but in a white, I would get like a white alligator, whatever, crocodile strap. Imagine this watch. It's rose gold. You got the beautiful silvery white dial, and you put a white, you know, alligator or whatever this strap is, crocodile, in white instead of the brown, and it looks, I mean, that would be amazing. I mean, it would look also a lot younger, or even rubber, a white rubber strap. It would also look a lot younger. I mean, the brown makes it look like a little bit of an old man watch. I think that's what it is. Yeah, this is, fuck. I'm really tempted here. I may have to like get like an extra padding around my wrist to be able to wear something like this. No box, no papers. Wow. Yeah, this is. I'm actually surprised. I've not seen this stuff, but you know, I mean, just a couple months ago, these were like 80 grand, 90 grand. No, excuse me, not 80. They were like 190, 100 grand, over 100 grand, and now to see them dropping this much is interesting. I think it's the leather. It's the leather strap. At some point, there's going to be good value here. All right, gentlemen, that wraps up our show for today. Thank you, everybody, for joining. And, you know, our show sponsor, GD, we'll see you all on the next one. And, of course, remember, we got our Las Vegas Horological Congress coming up in April. Special top secret. It's going to be a top secret meetup for the aristocrats only. No peasants will be allowed. No Rolex submariners will be allowed in the building.